Hello everybody, welcome to Who Knew? We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, where we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights of this current incarnation. Today's episode is World War III. It received a rating or a viewership of 7.98 million viewers in the United Kingdom. The writer of this episode is Russell T Davies. The director is Keith Boak. Producers are Phil Collinson, Russell T Davies, Julie Gardner, and Mal Young. And of course, we have great music from Murray Gold, and our great music is from Michael Grady. Thank you, Michael. In this episode, the Doctor, Rose, and Harriet Jones MP from Flydale North.
Say that 3 times fast.
Right. Must stop the Slitheen's plan to destroy the Earth. The opening picks up exactly where the previous episode left off.
Well, should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, that's right. We should introduce ourselves.
I'm a person.
And your name is Anakin?
Hello, this is Frank.
Hi, this is Brian.
Hi, this is Auburn.
This is Josh.
And I am Forgetful Eugene today, apparently. Thanks, Alburn, for engineering our episode today.
Yay.
Yeah, edit the cough out.
Cough out. You didn't hear that at home.
So this leaves off from where Aliens of London left off.
Okay.
This starts off where Aliens of London left
We pick
off.
up right where Aliens of London left off. World War III.
Just like to say that was Eugene.
The Doctor and the other alien specialists at 10 Downing Street are being electrocuted. We're brought into the mid-electrocution. And this is being done through their ID badges that were handed out when they all came and checked in. The Doctor, since he is not human, is able to remove his electrified ID card and attach it to one of the compression devices around one of the Slitheen's necks. Those devices are interconnected so that all the aliens are being shocked simultaneously.
Isn't that just convenient?
Yes.
I mean, that's just
Very.
so handy.
Well,
I mean, really, if you're gonna, be interconnected, you can all die at the same time.
Have
Who
it by
would
the
have thought?
jugular.
Yeah.
I mean, alien anatomy is different, so we don't know what's up there.
Well, I like how...
That's just one of my pet peeves.
Well, they had to do something.
I know. It's still just, it's the teasers before the opening credits. I get it, but still.
It was also just back to the old Saturday serials of Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, where the next serial picks up that same scene, slightly varied, where now the Doctor is able to take off the ID,
badge.
and then we continue the story from that point.
Yeah. Anyway, so that happened.
Yes. So while the Slitheen are being distracted by the electrical feedback, Rose saves Harriet and Mickey saves Jackie from the impending deadly attacks from other Slitheen. Harriet realizes they left the emergency protocols in the cabinet office, so she and Rose go back to retrieve them. The Doctor gathers the police securing, or I think they're more military at this point.
Well, they were dressed in black, where the military was...
Well,
Yeah, I think it said
Berets.
police on their uniforms, actually.
Well, also UNIT is also black too. Whatever, they're probably police.
But did they have guns? Because then they'd be the military.
They all have
Yes,
guns.
they had guns.
That'd be military then.
The armed
Soldiers.
government employed people securing the building come at the Doctor's call, and they return to the room to find the specialists dead. The Slitheen, having freed the ID cards from the compression device, are back in their human bodies. They instruct the police to capture the true alien, the Doctor.
How did Jackie and Mickey get away? I can't remember.
Mickey hits the alien over with a chair.
And then the feedback happens. So
the feedback
was
happened,
while he
yeah.
was all just shimmering.
Oh, okay.
and then
Got a chair and broke
and then
it
he
over
takes
He takes a picture.
up from his cell phone.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
And it looks like the old Nokia brick that
Yeah.
doesn't have a camera.
Oh, really?
Some of them
No,
did.
some did.
I'm just saying, the one I remember having didn't have a camera
Oh. Yeah, all right, back in ancient times. Move on.
back in 2005.
It had a
whatever.
camera.
Whatever.
It took a photo.
It's
Couldn't
convenient,
take a moving picture. It had to be a still.
right?
So it was a Nokia. You could see the logo.
Yeah, you could. That's why I wanted to say that. I remember
I think
having
it was
that.
product placement.
I doubt it.
So then running starts because
Yes,
it's the
running.
Doctor.
Now it's
so
running.
he's like, okay, no one's going to buy that the minister there is actually an alien. So he just
So he's like, bye.
hightails it out of there.
See ya.
And also everybody else starts running, Jackie and Mickey
and Rose and Harriet. So everybody's running. They all converge in one office where the doctor uses a fire extinguisher to distract the Slitheen long enough so the three of them being the doctor, Rose, and Harriet, out of the cabinet room, sealing them inside and the Slitheen outside. The doctor learns that Slitheen is not a race, but a family name who have set all this up as a way to make money for their family business.
Do you have it written there on the name of the actual race?
He hasn't figured that out yet, and I think we should wait
Yeah, not yet.
until he does. Because
And then we're gonna have a contest to see who can say it right. But the chase is
so many
interesting.
people right now are trying that, preparing to
The
say
chase
it.
is interesting.
It's very Scooby-Dooey.
Yeah, and one thing that always makes me laugh is when the he's got the military on both sides of him, and he's lecturing them, saying, "Well, if you want to capture somebody, don't have them backed up against the elevator."
Yeah.
And then the elevator opens, which is silly. But if you listen to it, there's this like silly little musical sting. It's like
It's not, and it's not music from the elevator. It's just
no,
a sting.
it's like like a
And none of the soldiers have soldier-like reflexes at all. None of them look like they've ever done a push-up in their life. They look at it, they have no body armor.
You take the background actors you can get.
Yeah, they all look like first-grade teachers.
But then you have the Rose and Harriet, and they're being hunted.
Yeah.
And it goes through the whole thing, and Margaret Slitheen is going to kill Rose. And I also like that at that moment, Harriet jumps out and says, "Take me first, take me first,
yeah.
take me first." I mean, it's just another like, God, Harriet, you're just awesome, And then they both escape.
Because of the doctor.
Yeah.
No, it was a very Scooby-Doo moment. I definitely thought of that. But I was wondering if it should have been more of a Jaws moment where you don't actually see the shark. Because
And we better not to see this Slitheen.
Going from the bodysuits to the CGI, they're so different.
Yeah.
They're almost totally different aliens.
And they're moving differently.
Yeah,
And they're coloring, and
I made a point to really watch the CG on this, and the animation itself is pretty good. The compositing's iffy, but
Well, the CG ones seemed very scary. They were
Yeah.
very fast.
and they
yeah.
were moving all around where the other ones could barely lift their arms.
Yeah, because the claws look like they're deadly, but then you cut to the practical, and it's just like fumbling about.
Well, one of them killed Indra Ganesh, the junior secretary,
Yeah.
the MOD. And when he got killed, that seemed definitely threatening.
Oh, yeah.
Lifting him up against the wall.
yeah, that was practical.
great.
That was well done.
But that was also executed better, pun intended. It was done.
You want to take that back?
It was done better because I think the way they covered that shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good filmmaking. They don't need the costumes to do too many things, so that's
Right.
when they use the costumes, they can't do those things. It's just
I'm just saying that was better than like the wider shots of them like full body.
It was just very disorienting going back and forth
Yeah.
Yeah,
between the
it
two,
was.
the practical.
It's like if you ever watched the original Terminator going back and forth, it's just
The
not
stop motion and the
hold up.
practical, yeah.
They should either one would have worked by itself, but going back and forth is especially now that our eyes are so used to seeing the difference.
I still find the Terminator, the staccato-ness creepy because it's not natural.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then with this, it doesn't match that tone that they're going for.
No,
You know what I mean?
It's just,
Yeah.
It looks like someone did a really great costume at an office party.
Yeah.
You mentioned eyes, and so I wanted to bring that up now. The Slitheen eyes.
Yeah,
It
where-
was done really well in the practical, but they added
The
CG
blink.
eyes to add a blink and the sound to it. Mm-hmm. So that just gave it a creep.
Well, they added
little factor.
they added
added the
CG.
blink.
They added CG eyelids.
That's what I
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I'm just pointing it out.
And I like that when confronted in the cabinet room, and the doctor's threatening them with the brandy
Oh yeah.
or the port. I thought that's an exposition scene, but it's so well done.
It's like a Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
But
But
it furthers the plot.
yeah, well, explains the plot. We find out what the Slitheen are there. We find out who they are, and there's like little bits of humor, and
Like past the
you
port.
pass the port. No, it's pass to the left.
Pass it to the left.
Right?
Just little things like that, and we find out they're who the Slitheen are, and that the doctor is bluffing, And then the
time.
doctor even gives a little history of the cabinet room and shuts them inside.
Yeah, locks
without
them.
realizing that he can't get out.
Yeah.
And I like the that's the scene where we find out the actual plot, right? Or is that later?
Well, we know
Like,
that
what
they're
the-
not there to invade.
Right.
They're there for another reason.
I think it's later that we actually
Later that we find
Right.
out. All right.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little later because they open it up again and he's like,
and it's with Margaret.
Right.
It is later.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a little
later.
later.
Sorry.
All
all right, let's keep going then. The Slitheen cut communication to the cabinet room and summoned the rest of their family except for the policeman who is now hunting Jackie Tyler. We learn from Harriet Jones that Britain has turned over their nuclear launch codes to the United Nations and there is nothing of use in the emergency protocols.
And no country would ever do that, would they? I can't imagine. I mean, I'm just. That's something that's always stops me watching this episode. It's like, I'm sorry, what government's going to give their power away?
And especially Great Britain, who isn't even. Are they members of the EU? I don't think they're.
Yeah, they're in the
currency
EU
members,
and the
though.
UN. They're in
But
both.
they're not in the Euro.
No, they're not in the Euro. But
So
it's
they-
just like
they
this
do have a
is
streak
this is
of-
the power to blow things up. I can't see a government going, all right, we'll hold them, they're ours, but we won't
agree.
do it.
I don't think that, especially Great Britain, would give that kind of power up.
I thought it was a flashback to the Cold War, but now with the nuclear power, that's very different. But
I mean, yeah, people go to the UN to get resolutions to, okay, is it okay if we do this?
right.
It's not that, the UN holds the key to the tanks, But I just always thought that was a little weird.
Yeah,
but,
but all the
it
names-
creates the drama of
All the names in the emergency protocols are all dead. So all the people
Yeah.
that they
Yeah,
could
true.
get help from. But it just was funny that they kept mentioning it in the last episode. And the
then-
whole phrase, the emergency protocols. We have to go back to the emergency protocols. We need to get the emergency protocols, and there's nothing in there to help us.
Yeah, that's true. So back.
Another thing, I know
Yeah.
I'm harping on the music, but
fine.
yeah, see what I did there?
No.
This is so funny. There's that quick scene where Jackie and Mickey leave her apartment to get away. And so you see them behind a fence and, all the military are out
Yes.
and all that. And they run across the thing. And it's like Scooby-Doo music.
Yeah.
Again, it's just this silly little, it's like the elevator where it's just like this silly little that has
Yeah.
no bearing, no reference to any of the rest of the score. And it's just kind of like, it's so cartoony. Mm-hmm. So
Does that bother you?
it stands out. And no, it doesn't bother me because they don't ever do that again.
Yeah, they do it once and then they move on.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, in this episode I can accept it, because this is where it's like, okay, the little cartoony childish moments are kind of cute rather than the fart moments, which are not.
Yeah, I wish we had a more balance in the last episode with this type of cartoony versus flatulent jokes.
Oh, speaking of which, what I wanted to say earlier was we didn't get to the end of it though. That all the fart jokes have a payoff in this episode, whereas last episode they didn't.
Right.
They were
And
just
I think that's
gags.
why. Yeah. So it seemed like just a dumb gag that they just came up with, but
Now there's
now it actually has a reason.
It's a plot point.
and you kind of get like that mental resolution to it. Whereas in the first episode you don't. And that's probably why it was even more annoying.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. Editing?
we just don't like fart jokes.
All right. So Mickey is still able to call Rose due to the upgrade in her phone that was received from the doctor, or the doctor did on her phone. The doctor walks him through breaking into Unit's computer and finds that a code is being beamed into space by the Slitheen.
Yes, that is true.
Well, sorry, I was gathering my thoughts that Jackie's discussion here with because
With the doctor,
yeah, because they're on.
is she safe?
Yeah, they have a connection because it's established that this room is kind of like locked down from communication. or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's only the superphone that's
Yeah.
able to get out.
And so with this,
This is when you start to see Mickey actually has some use to him.
yeah,
Yeah, but this is, Jackie is saying to the doctor, is she safe? Is she safe?
Yeah.
All I care about is my doctor. Is she safe? And the doctor doesn't answer.
Right.
He doesn't,
yeah.
he doesn't lie.
I think that's
He just
great.
doesn't answer.
Yeah, and I think that's a very relatable thing. You want somebody that you care about and love to be safe, even though they're surrounded by bad costume Farting aliens.
But look at Eccleston in that moment.
Yeah,
He's up against the wall, and he's not going to lie, but he knows the answer.
Yeah.
And you can read it in his face, and he doesn't want to say this to Rose's mother, which is a great little character moment.
And as they're just discussing what's in the emergency protocols, Rose says, well, aren't there some missiles or something we can shoot at them? And just Harriet goes, you're a very violent young woman. A cute little line I liked for Harriet.
I was almost expecting her to go, you're very American.
Well, she's not packing a gun.
Then she's Canadian. No, I'm not.
There's some interesting bits in this scene, too, because there's Iraq War references, too.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, there's one point where, it's not overtly mentioned, but you've got Harriet, talking about things in the past, and then she says, I voted against that, thank you very much, in that very British way. But, that's an Iraq War reference. I know a little later on, the news reporters and I think the acting prime minister, they both reference massive weapons of destruction, not weapons of mass destruction, but they're massive weapons of destruction. And then there was another thing. I guess there was a famous Tony Blair quote where he said they could use their weapons of mass destruction against us in 45 minutes. And in this episode, it was massive weapons of destruction in 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. Russell's making a statement in this. But they're all really quick.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're getting bonk over the head.
It's in context, too.
And you don't have to think about it. You're
don't
moving
need,
forward.
It's going to go over a lot of people's heads, every child's head, which is great.
Yeah.
You call me a child?
The Slitheen policeman has followed Mickey and Jackie to Mickey's apartment and breaks in. The Doctor, Rose, and Harriet Jones... Wow, the Doctor, Rose, and Harriet Jones... listen on the phone, and they deduce the Slitheen's race to be... Who wants to try it?
I'll try it.
Oh, come on, you can do this.
Where is it?
No, I want to bring it out to everybody.
I can
do it.
Okay. Where is it? Raxacoricophalopatorius.
Close.
Very good.
Yeah. No, that's a good first attempt.
Raxacoricophalopatorius.
Yeah,
There you go.
Raxacoricophalopatorius.
Raxacoricophalopatorius?
Oh, thanks for playing.
Do you want to try? Okay.
Yeah. Hand it over.
It's at the bottom.
Of course, the
Oh, yeah.
Raxacoricophalopatorius.
Raxacoricophalopatorius. Yeah, that's easy.
Raxacoricophalopatorius de Slitheen. Isn't that what they do? They just add their name at the end.
No,
No.
because they have a full name. They have the full.
Yeah, they had
Policeman's
Oh,
name
that's
is-
right. That's right.
Yeah,
You're right.
policeman's name is Sipfelfach
That's right.
Pasamir de Slitheen.
De Slitheen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Margaret has Blonde. Blonde is the beginning of her name.
Well, from the phone or the jilted phone, not jilted, but staggered phone conversation, they figure out that the Slitheen are calcium-based life forms.
I like how they found out about the race because they listed everything that they know about.
The Slitheen at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And we were able to that narrows it down.
Narrows it down. Yeah.
That's all the doctor
That's
kept
right.
saying.
That's right. They kept
And
saying
everybody's
that narrows it down.
participating.
That narrows it down.
Yeah.
It's green skin, developed sense of smell. They smell the adrenaline, the pig technology, spaceship in the Thames. It has slipstream engine. They hunt ritually, and then of course the farts, pardon the expression, pardon the word. They have a different smell, and that's what really leads them to it because it smells like bad breath, which is the calcium decaying.
And then she says, just like Hannibal, or what was it that she
Yeah,
said?
Hannibal.
that's right, Hannibal.
Which I didn't know what she was talking about, so I wrote a note about it, and then they tell us what she was
tell us.
talking about, and then I crossed it out.
Yeah, they heated up the rocks.
Yeah.
Going over the Alps. And
Oh, is that
then
what it was?
Yeah,
They poured the
then
vinegar on it, and the vinegar weakened, so they could break
break
them
them
up.
down into smaller things that they can move out. Smaller.
Yeah. Nice history reference.
That's TV teaches you things.
It's supposed to teach you good things. I also want to point out that Mickey's room has become like a cave of conspiracy surrounding the Doctor.
Oh,
It's
really?
Clive's.
Yeah, it's Clive's.
It's Clive's.
Oh, that's
He's turning
funny.
into
Yeah,
Clive.
because you see on his billboards and walls, posters, and like little drawings of the
UFOs
TARDIS and
and-
stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny now that he's actually become a person, they can write him better,
Yeah.
as opposed to just a gimmick.
Well, but this is the year where he's accused of being a murderer. He needs to find out about the Doctor.
That's true.
And he's like Clive. He's found out a lot about
Right.
the Doctor. Going, death. Doesn't he say death?
It just
is
follows him. Yeah,
is his
yeah,
companion.
follows- is his companion.
Yeah.
And that's what Clive said. Yeah.
Why did Rose and Mickey go back to her? Jackie and Mickey go back to her place.
Mickey says something in the episode. He says, "No one would look for you here because of our past year."
You hate me, so you won't be.
But that's where the cop found them.
No. They're at Mickey's apartment.
Mickey's.
So when they're on the computer, they're at his place?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that it was...
It's easy to confuse because it's the same set.
It's
They
the same set,
redressed
they just
it.
redress it. Yeah.
All right, well, maybe yeah.
But it also kind of makes sense because they're in the same.
They're the same.
state.
Yeah, they're the same buildings. So when the cop finds them,
That's Mickey's.
that is
Yes,
oh,
Mickey's
Because he
okay.
smells them.
Sense of smell.
Yeah. There's that one moment where it's like, and he,
Oh, okay.
and that's how he's able to track them down.
So the Doctor tells Mickey and Jackie to go into the kitchen and get vinegar. Jackie gathers everything that has vinegar into one container and throws it onto the alien, making him explode.
That was,
That was fun.
that was pretty funny.
It was a good explosion.
You kiss him with the
Yeah, there you go.
This is not
pickled eggs and gherkins and.
And I love Mickey going, "I don't know what's vinegar. What do I have that's vinegar?"
And I like
Jackie
that.
just, "What do you need? Okay, I can get this."
And it's been a year, and Rose tells him where to find everything, right?
Oh, that's true.
No, good point.
It's also funny how when they shoot it, they cover it in such a way that the Slitheen explodes on one angle, and then they do the match cut to Jackie and Mickey reacting, and there's like a big slob of it that goes on Mickey's mouth.
You know, that's what they were shooting for.
I just find that funny. I'm like, did they do that on the first take? Because that's like right there.
Depends on how much money they had that day.
Yeah. The acting Prime Minister Green goes on television and reports that the specialists have been murdered by aliens and that those aliens will destroy the planet unless we take action. He pleads to the United Nations to release the nuclear codes so they can strike at the alien mothership above London. The Doctor knows there is no mothership and deduces that the Slitheen want to use those nuclear codes to attack other countries. Therefore, yeah.
Oh, and Harriet makes a quick line of, "Well, do you think they're going to believe them?" And Rose says, "They did last time."
Yeah.
So that's another reference to Iraq.
Right. So yeah, they're using the nuclear weapons to start World War III, which is the name of the show or the episode. He releases the lock on the door, the Doctor does, and confronts the Slitheen. Margaret Blaine explains that they will be safe in their spaceship while they can sell the molten slag that was once Earth for a substantial profit as an energy source.
For some reason, this was the first time I actually I guess I always understood it, but it was just a passing thought, like, oh, okay, whatever. But this was the first time I actually took in
The plot?
That plot, yeah. I don't know if it was just skirted over so quickly that it didn't stick in the past, or because I remember, oh, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, that's their getaway car that they just parked there, but they did it in a way to start it all.
Yeah.
So it wasn't damaged. They just made it look that way so they can get to it.
And they
And
also,
this
they
is
also-
all about, it's not about invasion, it's about money.
yeah, and they also knew what it would cause, doing that would cause the populace to react to.
And even after all this, the Doctor gives them the choice.
Right.
You can leave,
Right.
or I'll stop you. But at this point, he's, the Doctor always, he doesn't want to do what he does.
And of course, you laugh at the Doctor if you're that alien, going, "You're locked in a room. What are you
Yes.
going to do?"
Yeah, and she does it so well.
I wanted to point out that while the Doctor is trying to get information out of them of what is their motivation for doing this, one of the practical costume people as a Slitheen goes, and then it just...
Really?
Yeah, because he's like, what, why are you trying to do... something to the effect of, what are you trying to do? What is your end game? And then the one on the screen left goes,
Really?
yeah, and then they added that in. They ADR'd that in so that it matched the mouth of the mask. And I thought that was funny. It's like, oh, he's found us. Our ruse is undone. I don't know. I just thought that was very real to have that stuttering going on.
I was wondering after they blow up the Slitheen over with Jackie and Mickey, they all that are in the cabinet, the Doctor, Rose, and Harriet Jones, take a drink as a celebratory drink. But the Doctor, and I don't know if it's a doctor or if it's Eccleston, who actually drinks some of that and then has his face of disgust and like spitting it out. It's like, did the actor
And it
forget?
just cuts.
Yeah, it just cuts.
Yeah.
But did the actor forget it's just a prop and probably not good stuff, just colored?
Yeah, it was probably watered down. He's like, oh.
Or was it something about the Doctor that I did not know?
He does do that in other times. I know Matt Smith does it.
That's usually right after a regeneration where he's not sure what he likes and what he doesn't.
That's true.
So this one, I thought just the actor just got into it and forgot.
Because even when they do that moment, you have to get the Doctor's reaction. You know, they carry it on, but this is like you see him go, ooh, and they move on. So.
The beam code the Doctor detects that the beam code from earlier is an advertisement to summon buyers. The Doctor warns them to leave this planet or he will stop them before he seals the door again.
And he seals that door very slowly. They could have easily just reached in and grabbed
Well,
him.
they have to have that stare moment
I
where
know.
It's a good stare.
Oh, it's an awesome stare where
great
Margaret's
stare
going,
moment.
wait.
The Doctor has a plan to stop them, but doesn't want to implement the plan because he cannot ensure Rose's safety. Jackie says, "Don't you dare," and Rose tells him to go ahead without even hearing the plan. I think that's important to note there, that Rose trusts the Doctor wholeheartedly at this moment.
Yes.
Yes. But then Harriet takes charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Harriet Jones tells him it's not his decision. She is the only elected official in the office and orders him to proceed. With Mickey's help, they hack into the Royal Navy fairly easily, I might add.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
All you need is
they,
Buffalo.
They just need the password.
That's it.
You have the password, then they have the password.
Somebody somewhere has a password that can get into everything.
Try Buffalo.
2 F's, 1 L.
Yes.
That is how you spell Buffalo.
I know.
I even looked it up. I'm like, isn't that how you spell it? So I looked it up. I'm like, that's how you spell it.
Is there
But
a
he's dealing with
strange
Mickey.
British spelling like
Maybe.
R-E? But no, there's not.
It's
He's dealing with
OEU.
Mickey. He's dealing with
Oh,
Mickey.
Oh, maybe that's it. That's probably the joke. Mickey the idiot.
So Mickey hacks into the Royal Navy's website and sends a missile to destroy 10 Downing Street. At this point, Jackie tells Mickey that she could stop him, but she doesn't.
And he almost says, well, he does say.
He says, I hope
Do it.
I hope
Do
you
it.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they don't want to do what they're doing.
But, I mean,
Which I thought was a great
Yeah.
scene of, we know this is tough.
this is the course of action we need to take to save humanity, but then we're losing parts of ourselves, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to bring it back to Harriet for a second, I love that this is the moment where she takes charge. This is where, she's always going to do what's best for the greater good of Earth.
Yeah.
And I like that that's a little bit of foreshadowing. And she also has the courage to make difficult choices.
In high pressure situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll do what's not popular,
But we'll do what's right.
but we'll do what's right.
Or in the best interest of the people.
Yes.
For the people, by the people. The police evacuate the few who are remaining at number 10 Downing Street.
Doesn't he just pull a fire alarm?
And
He shoots the gun in the air.
yeah, but doesn't he?
somebody pulls a fire.
I think he pulls a fire alarm. He does something on the wall.
Oh, inside. Maybe it's just an evacuation alarm. I don't know if it's a fire
It
alarm.
just looked like a fire. That wasn't very official. The building is going to be blown up. Ring.
Yeah, but the bullet in the middle of
Right,
hey, run outside the front of
That's
the
a
White
big
House.
building.
Run out the front of the White
Yeah.
House and fire off a gun and see if everybody runs away from you or shoots you dead.
Right.
But then the one goes to go get the remaining cabinet members, the aliens, and runs into them when they've all taken off their clothes.
All right.
He's the one that shot the gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that
He's
doesn't
the
look like-
featured extra.
that doesn't look like he has any training.
Yeah.
He just shoots the gun, pulls the alarm, shoots the gun, and goes back in, and then he's surrounded by all these aliens. He's like,
There's a missile come. Okay. So they're caught with their pants down, literally.
Oh, and I want to point out that when they want to put it back on, the one fumbling trying to put it back on looks so funny.
Yeah. Well, they're arguing, going, "No, mine's the blonde one."
Right.
So the missile eventually hits, destroying the building and the Slitheen.
But it's a good thing that they hid in a closet.
Yes.
Well, they're in but they're in the cabinet room that's got this.
That's still
Fortified.
What do you want? A refrigerator?
yes. That would or a shark.
Oh, that would have been great. You're like, there's a refrigerator.
But it is good reasoning because the smaller room would have a little more
That's true.
structural.
Well,
to
even
it.
and when after it's all destroyed, you see that room was pretty much intact.
Yeah.
And also it's good that the bomb, the missile hit when it did because the Slitheen was about to say a very nasty word,
Oh, right.
so it gets cut off in mid-syllable.
Oh, speaking of that, I wanted to point out the one where the general and the acting prime minister are in the elevator, and then they mention like it's better to be naked or something.
Oh, we don't have to mention that.
But the way he pulls off his hat and starts to unzip, it's very committed. It's like
Acting.
yeah, I'm like that's why he got that role. There's something about like the dignity of unzipping.
I'm not going to ask you to take that back. You can keep that one.
As long as it's not within 100 feet of a school.
So Rose, Harriet, and the doctor survive due to being protected inside the structurally reinforced cabinet office cabinet. Do you want to bring that up?
But then Harriet Jones leaves and starts taking
Charge.
command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She's
it's
the
great.
only one left. So
And the doctor explains, where he remembers her from, why the name sounded so familiar, that she had 3 consecutive terms as prime minister, and she was the architect of Britain's golden age.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I think-
awesome.
I
love it. I totally love it.
Yeah. The whole, like the first viewing of these 2 episodes, I kept thinking, should I know Harriet Jones? Because the doctor is trying to figure out where he remembered. Mm-hmm. But then when he explains it, I'm like, oh, this is something they're going to do later. Or, like it's not in our timeline.
There's no
Right,
guarantee
yeah.
they
Yeah.
would do it later.
But you know
the
what
way
I
they
mean.
set it up was like, is this a historical person? I just
Yeah.
don't. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know
what I
about.
thought.
Because
Yeah.
it sounds like a familiar name, Harriet Jones. Like that sounds
like the
familiar.
astronomer from the first, yeah.
So I like that they kept us guessing, and then the payoff wasn't too crazy. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, it was great.
Okay, so now Jackie wants to get to know the doctor and invites him to dinner because he kept her daughter alive.
Well, also because Rose has,
Such an affection for him.
she likes him. So
Well,
she
but
knows
I-
it's like,
But she
she's
also
not
wants to
leaving
know who is this
him alone.
person.
Yeah,
that my daughter's
my favorite
gone off
line is
with.
she says, "I'm ready to listen." That's the line I like, where it's just like, okay. And of course, the doctor says no.
Yeah,
He was
and
kind of a jerk to her.
Well,
and I think this is the first time in this version that we do get the doctor refusing an invitation to a meal, because it's a theme, or it's something that occurs after this.
yes, it does occur
Yeah.
after this. Yeah,
It's like come in.
He doesn't do tea.
Yeah, it's like come in for a meal, a family dinner, supper, and he's always refusing it. This is the first time in this version that he refuses it.
Yeah.
But he's so strongly about it that he actually tells Rose, no, this is it. You have to make the choice. Staying or you going? And he does it a little more enticingly about, this is where I'm going to be going.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place. So
And that's also not the
Make a
last time
decision.
he does that.
Oh, yeah.
When he does, great, right now there's a nebula exploding and doing this. He'll use that same kind of lure.
To bait them.
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
But they never go there.
I know.
At least we don't see it.
Yeah, we never see it.
But there was that bit of time in the beginning of the previous episode, the part 1, where I was thinking, well, that could have been when they could have been coming back from one of the times that we saw in the first episode when Clive had a picture or this, that, or the other. It doesn't always mean him and Rose are in the same room and things like that. So now that you said that, from our first episode, I've been looking for spots where he could have run off and done something.
Oh, and later in the season, there's actual specific mention of that where they start talking about Rose. Well, we'll get to it in that episode, but Rose actually just start talking about, and then we went here, and then we went there,
right,
and then we went here, and this was awesome. And, as a viewer, you're sitting there going, it does sound awesome. I'd like to see that.
The doctor refuses the invitation to dinner. He doesn't do families and tells Rose she has to choose: stay with her mom or travel with him. She begins to pack, and Jackie begs her to stay. He invites Mickey to join them, but Mickey turns him down, stating that it would be too overwhelming. The doctor hands Mickey...
Well, and Mickey also was reading a newspaper where, oh, look, it's a gigantic hoax.
Yeah.
And Mickey is just, I can't believe it. After all this happens and people think it's a hoax. And, you know, the doctor just says the world's not ready. When you're ready...
You'll come on board.
You'll come, yeah.
But Mickey's not really... a wimp in this. It's
No,
like
he's
he
not.
just sent a missile at 10 Downey, so he's gone through it.
But
he's not just turning it down. He's like, I know, I'm going. My eyes are opened. I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
This isn't what I want.
Yeah, this is not the first
And he
episode.
says, "Don't tell
this
Rose."
Is
Right.
This
He's
is a different...
changed since the first time.
Different
seeing that.
Mickey.
Yeah, in the hero's journey, this is his refusal to the call.
And College Boy is back.
The doctor hands Mickey a disk containing a virus that will eliminate any record of the doctor on the internet. As Jackie and Rose walk to the TARDIS, Rose tells her mom that it's a time machine. She will be able to have all these adventures and still be back in 10 seconds. Rose and the doctor say their goodbyes, and the TARDIS disappears.
Oh, before that, Rose invites Mickey to come along.
Right.
So Mickey has gotten invited now by both of them to go on the adventures.
And he's not ready.
He's not ready, but, and the doctor also...
But he doesn't tell Rose that. He told the doctor not to tell Rose.
Right.
So
And
the doctor covered for him.
Exactly, which is great. But this is kind of like... Later on, we might have to swing back to this, but we need to remember, at one point, he was invited by the doctor. He was invited by Rose, willingly, from both of them.
Bookmark.
Yeah.
So after saying goodbyes, the TARDIS disappears. 10 seconds pass, and the TARDIS does not return, and 10 seconds pass as Jackie counts them down. Mickey and Jackie quietly walk away. That's the end of the episode.
That was sad. for them.
So sad,
It's
but
really sad.
but yet satisfying.
But nobody, was surprised either.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like by satisfying, it's like we knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And to have it play out is all the more.
I think that's why the
Of course.
show, sells. It's because them even addressing how the pain of missing someone, the underlying theme of all the episodes are things that we can all relate to emotionally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's so sad.
I also want to point out this is the first appearance of Lachelle Carl. Am I saying that right?
To the reporter.
The reporter?
Trinity Wells?
Yeah.
Love her.
She reappears as the American reporter, seen in other things. I won't ruin that for you, but
She's in all of Russell Davies'
yeah.
Doctor Who
Yeah, because she's
shows.
also in
Is she American?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that it's funny that that's the American go-to on-air anchor. And there's something also about the way...
But there's also the French...
Yeah,
The French reporter, I think, is sometimes the same guy.
but not as heavily featured as Trinity Wells.
Yeah.
And it's also...
And Trinity doesn't get a name until
I don't
way
remember.
later.
Yeah,
but
we'll figure that out.
I just think it's a good name. Trinity Wells.
And I think it's worth pointing out that the news footage looks so degraded for some reason. For 2005, I don't think it should look like that, but whatever. It distinguishes it from the show
Well,
proper.
I think a lot of people still had older TVs at that point.
Yeah,
It was still
the full-on HD conversion hadn't happened.
Yeah, and I think and where they lived, those people wouldn't even have newer televisions and stuff like that. But and I don't know.
So yeah,
It's also interesting, and I know that fans kind of jumped on this. From now on, whenever we are back in modern day present London with Jackie and Mickey and that, from now on, we're a year ahead of ourselves. Because it's established in Rose that it's 2005. And so
In here.
from now on, we are watching a year in the future. And it's not until Matt Smith's era with his timey-wimey stuff that, boom, we're now suddenly the present is the present. But through all of Tennant's episodes, in the present, it's a year ahead. Not that you would ever need to know,
but it's a little tidbit.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I like it. And then another thing I discovered was that the BBC put up a website that was Mickey's website.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like the conspiracy theory and his little blog about the Doctor.
During that year.
Yes. Yeah. So they put up little I'm doing this and and so there were like links to the news footages of
yeah?
of the alien ship landing. So you saw Trinity Wells. And one quick tidbit, we can't verify if it's accurate or not, but apparently on that website, there was a link to the American broadcast, and the ticker along the bottom identified Trinity Wells, but it said that her name was Mal Loup, MAL space LOUP, which is like a really bad French translation of Bad Wolf.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But I can't find that now. It's not on the internet anymore.
Is
It's
that
not on the
website?
episode. It's not on the episode itself.
It's not on
I
the
remember
episode,
hearing
yeah.
that though.
Yeah. And the website is still there. And another interesting little tidbit that I liked is Mickey has an entry after this episode where he says that the doctor gave him a CD to erase the doctor's existence from the internet completely, but I won't use it. I'm not going to use it. I don't want to use it. It's just good to know that, I have the CD and I have the virus. And in case the doctor does turn out to be bad, I can use it. But according to this extra BBC website, he never erased the doctor from the internet.
At this point.
At this point, yeah.
'Cause I think that does show up later on.
Yeah, later on with Mets.
So but
Yeah.
that we'll cover, but it's
Yeah.
like that's just setting the groundwork.
Right, right.
But
yeah.
but it is interesting, kind of like in canon. Everybody assumes Mickey used it, just to make the Doctor a little more mysterious,
Right.
going forward. But there's just this fun little extra bit.
We'll
where
put that
Mickey-
website in our notes when you can click on below the video.
The website's still active. I mean, it's there.
Yeah,
but
it's there.
But the links and stuff, because we can.
The links to the videos don't work.
don't work.
Oh,
But
really?
You can still see the photographs. You can still see, this is Mickey, and
I mean, I saw a screenshot saying the Mal Loop, but
Yes.
but I can't find any verification anywhere else. That's
Right.
why it's like the video's been down. So this is just 10 years ago. So
Yeah, I don't remember the website address. I should have put that down, but actually, I think you can just Google Mickey Smith's Doctor Who website, and it'll take you right to it. But yeah, it's kind of
We
like
won't be putting that link in our notes.
well, look, we'll see. We'll see.
we have to have a website first.
That's true. By the time you're hearing this, we should have a website. We have a domain name.
We do.
Now, there's no reference to Bad Wolf in this episode, and that was. Kind of
Oh, yeah,
strange
yeah.
way
No,
to
at
say
the
that
very
Bad
end, the
Wolf-
kid is
He's
wiping the
scrubbing it
graffiti.
off.
Yeah,
I think
but we
that's
don't see it.
Yeah, it's not heard, but it's
It's not heard or
seen.
seen.
It's not seen either.
But it's like
You don't
the
need-
TARDIS, that side of the
It's
TARDIS
referred.
is not seen.
It's
The kid is
alluded
cleaning
to.
it
I
off
would still
again.
count that as a reference because we know what's
It's the
there.
payoff to the original
Yeah.
reference.
Because
Right.
they I think they were
It's a two-part story, so it's one Bad Wolf reference per story.
and I think they weren't gonna they had
But
to
not per
add
episode.
that.
So, but I'm just saying it's not. There isn't one in this episode.
You think they had to add that?
They had to add the kid scrubbing it away because they didn't want to make his malfeasance go unpunished.
You think?
Also, I don't
Yeah.
think they wanted to have that on the TARDIS.
Who's
the entire
malfeasance? The
rest of
kid?
The kid,
season.
they didn't want to project the image or the message that it's okay to graffiti without
Are you
consequence.
sure about that, or is you just guessing?
No, I think that's it. I think so.
We know what kind of upbringing Eugene had.
So, would we recommend it to a first-time viewer? World War III.
No, just because we can kind of consider it as the entire story. Let's take parts 1 and 2 together. Would this be the first thing? No.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Brian. No.
Agreed.
Same.
So it's a majority rules. This is not an episode to introduce a new Who viewer to.
Say that 5 times.
But I do have to say, I did enjoy it a lot more than I remembered enjoying
Yes.
it.
Not an introduction
Especially the
episode.
first half.
Yeah, not an introduction episode, but rewatching this, very enjoyable.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't
especially
seen
when
it
you
in a
can,
while.
especially
Yeah.
watching it like in a row.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
to back. Yeah.
And Harriet Jones is just great.
Oh, yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Just if you haven't seen it in a while,
Go back.
my memory was just of the childish aspects of it. Go back and see it because there are a lot of different things in this, which is really nice.
Yeah, and it's got a sad ending, which is
Yeah.
just, I
Well,
don't
they've
know.
been sadder, but
Yeah,
this
but
is
this is a. I mean,
Oh.
just hearing Jackie count down from 10.
Yes.
Oh,
It really does give Jackie and Mickey more of a personality. Like
Yes.
start
Yeah.
developing their characters
they're
more
not
than
so one-dimensional like cardboard.
yeah.
And they're having a life.
Yeah.
While, all these great adventures are going on.
Yeah.
They're sitting in London and just waiting.
Yeah, it makes you want to see them again.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
It's a good episode if you've watched a while and have seen Mickey and Jackie to go back and get their origin story again, because it is, yeah, them at their best.
Yeah, it's almost like this is really where their story starts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Whereas
I like
before
that.
they were just sort of devices,
filler,
for other stuff.
All right. So I guess that wraps up World War III. Not literally, but figuratively.
A strange title. I just
Yeah. Because
Well, it's the nuclear war. I mean,
I know, but it's just it was one missile. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it wasn't even nuclear, right?
no,
It was
didn't
a-
need
That
to be.
was the plan.
it was a
No, I know,
there was a
but-
threat of multiple missiles.
yeah, yeah,
Whatever.
It was going to be Aliens of London.
Well, obviously, if he had a
was.
whole
It was,
Iraq,
and then they changed it
Last
to
minute.
have the numerical 3 also. And then they changed it again to be spelled out 3.
Yeah.
That I don't know why, the difference of that. But I think I figured out Aliens of London is because they found out the ship was actually sent from Earth. You know, that's the Doctor found out. Because it's like, usually it's like be aliens in London or something. Maybe that is the difference between
Maybe
the
it's 'cause
American
they've
vernacular and British, but Aliens of London.
I just keep thinking werewolves in London.
Yeah.
On one really tiny bit of trivia, which I always smile at, you know how the news reporter outside number 10 is talking about the people coming in, going, we don't know why these people are coming in. Actually, 2 bits of trivia. One, that's a real
Reporter.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, and that was he was the guy who stood out in front of number 10, and he retired soon
After
after
this,
this episode, which is great. You know, I
They got
love it
him.
when those little things happen. But one of the people who come in is some deputy chief administrator for North Sea offshore something, and you know it's just a throwaway line. But then later you find out that the signals in the North Sea, the ship was launched from the North Sea, so the Slitheen are in the North Sea, and so I just like it. You know,
ties
doesn't
in.
add anything to the plot or anything, but it's just one of those.
It's
"Well, this
consistent.
person's actually completely random. You know, like the sugar guy. He is completely random. But another one's like, well, this is really random, but they needed to have somebody
In that area.
in that area
Right,
who
right.
controlled things, and that's all you get. And
Yeah.
so it's just on repeated view. I mean, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th time I watched it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, nice little touch.
That little. That
Way to go, Russell.
Yeah, wraps it up tightly in the world.
One other thing is that the Slitheen feel each other. They are connected.
Yeah.
Psychically,
It's like his
because-
when that one
played
died.
really well.
Yeah, when Sip Felfach, who was a policeman, died, they felt it. And knew that he had gone. And they couldn't figure out why or how.
Yeah.
What did these humans do? I mean, they're like shocked, but they could actually feel it.
Yeah.
So is that the connection why the ID card?
Possibly.
That could be why it works.
Electrified.
Rather than the
Well, no, 'cause they-
actual
they-
devices being connected, it's
It's also partly that their bodies or their minds are connected.
possibly.
The
I don't know. Well, they
consciousness,
flat
like
out say it was the collar they were wearing.
Maybe a little
They
bit
say
of both.
that.
They do.
They
but
do.
It could be a little bit of both, like a hive consciousness or something, like a not hive, but you know, slightly hive.
But when the missile comes, if you're one of the family members,
You're
you'd
dead.
feel everybody's
Yeah.
death.
Well, I wonder if it's a trans galaxy reaching. I don't know.
I think that's reaching.
If you're a Slitheen out there, please let us
And
know.
you're listening.
Oh, well, the family. They would probably write it as the family would feel it, and not the
Not
rest of
indivi-
them.
yeah.
Right.
Raxachlorophalatorians.
By the way, sister planet of Crom.
Yes.
Clom. Clom.
That's right, Clom.
Which
right.
goes missing. We don't know why.
I guess that wraps up, truly wraps up World War III. You've heard our views. What do you think of Jackie and Mickey? Are you enjoying their character arcs? Let us know. Email us at whoknewpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next time when the future becomes the present.
Hang on, I guess these.
Bless you.
No, one more.
Give me Kleenex. Bless you.
That was it. That wasn't a nose sneeze.
You okay?
Yes.
You've just listened to an episode of Who Knew?
Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady. You can find his work at theuniverseexplodes.com.
You can find this show in several places. Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcast, subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Who Knew Podcast.
All our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com, and you can leave comments there or email us at whoknewpodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who, the longest-running sci-fi show in history, and especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davies.
Thanks to Russell, Sidney Newman, Verity Lambert, Ron Grainer, and all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
Your work continues to inspire and entertain.